96.9 Boston Talks.
Started talking before about the former governor, now disgraced. Although it doesn't really seem like he feels disgraced at all.
I love pure egomaniacs.
Yeah, he's got a huge smile on his face.
He was on
He's taking
TV, you know what I mean? He went
yeah.
on the Trump reality show.
That was my favorite.
I mean,
he really
funny.
was. If I got caught in this kind of shenanigans, and there was a good chance I could go to jail from anywhere, I don't know, a week in jail. But this guy could have gone away for 30 years. He went on the Celebrity Apprentice.
Right.
And, we have all kinds of people in our company. I'll say to David, like, hey, that wasn't the smartest thing to say. And he'll examine it and say yes or no. If I went on the Celebrity Apprentice, didn't one
right,
of
if you're his attorney, my thing is his attorney. Didn't he go, look, Rod, we're looking at 30 years here, pal. Why don't we say no to this invitation to be on a reality TV show?
Something tells me this guy does not take advice from
his
virtually anybody in his life.
Yeah. I mean,
and his wife did a show too, right?
Yeah,
yeah, she was on I'm a Celebrity. I just didn't see Sal DeMacy going on Wipeout. Him going through the obstacle course, getting hit.
Yeah, right. I mean, show a little contrition here, pal. So that got us talking to what you would have if you were going to have one more meal before going to prison. We've talked about this on the show before. We call it your going to the chair meal. Massachusetts brings back the death penalty. They're going to kill you at midnight. Yeah, and you say, I would eat this.
I would be, first of all, if I went to prison, it would be my last meal. Now, Blagojevich went to fast food, and he got patty melts. I like Shawshank Redemption, I would be the fresh fish. That guy who cried the first night and said, I'm not supposed to be here. Oh, yeah. And they just beat him to death.
I'd be some guy's girlfriend in about 7 minutes.
I wouldn't even last that long. They would just beat me to death. I would walk into prison, and they would even the guards wouldn't care.
It's a death sentence, right?
They would just say, okay.
I couldn't survive in there for a week. Forget it.
And so if I went, it would be all fast food and pizza. Because
see, here's why I wouldn't get that, because I think in prison, I would suspect that your friends or the guards can smuggle that sort of stuff in for you.
I would think they would have pizza in prison. I mean, pizza's
bad
pretty cheap.
pizza, but you know what I mean. I mean,
Yeah,
there
but
must
they'll
be.
have
They
the
smuggle
genre.
everything in. I mean, they do. They get you liquor. I mean, they figure out ways to get stuff done in prison. So I would get like a summer shack lobster, the kind of thing that somebody couldn't really put in their pants and bring you during visiting hours. See what I mean?
I like the seafood angle. That's definitely a good one, because I would definitely look for some food. If I was going to prison for a 16-year stretch, I would definitely go for, for me, they'll have something roughly equivalent of a hamburger when you're in prison. They'll have something roughly equivalent of a pizza. So I think I would get sushi. I got to be totally honest with you.
You get sushi as your last meal before
you
prison?
ain't getting anything close to sushi when you're in
right
prison.
about that.
When you leave one line open for someone that's done some time, there's no way that in prison you can get the equivalent or something close to a hamburger.
I bet you they have hamburgers.
That's interesting.
Absolutely, prison does not have hamburgers.
If you've done some hard time, 617-822-1969. 617-822-1969. If you have been in prison, I talked to a guy that had recently gotten out of the joint. He had done a stretch in Walpole, where he said we're very popular, and the inmates like watching Phantom Gourmet on TV 38.
I meet a lot of ex-cons that tell me they watch it
stop
in
me
the
on
house.
the street. So they say Saturday, Sunday, 10:30 and 11. Used to watch you, and we would talk about the first food we were going to eat when we got out of prison. Now he said you can put money in the canteen, and then you can buy better food, because he said the food is absolutely horrible in prison.
Okay, I understand it's horrible, but you can't agree with Danny. I picture prison, everything is scooped.
Yeah.
Like you have a tray and it gets scooped. If I've learned anything from the movies, it's that the warden is evil and on the take.
Yeah,
and
the
that
warden is never good.
That they scoop it, and then the first day the guy goes, "What's this?" and everyone laughs.
Well, he said there was his complaint, this is a big, strong guy, looked like a bodybuilder. He said there was no nutrition in the food. So they would give you Jell-O, chips, and a cheese sandwich on white
Michelle
bread.
Obama's next initiative is to make sure that prisoners eat extremely healthy and balanced meal.
I was sitting in the middle, I was walking through the common, and this guy screams out, "Hey, Dave, I just got out of the joint, love the show." And so, I don't really have that much to talk about with a guy who's been in prison. He said he'd been there for 6 years. So I started asking questions about prison food. I learned quite a bit about it.
Danny claims that prisoners get pizza and hamburgers.
Well, I'm guessing just because they're cheap, maybe pasta.
There's no way, Dave.
I bet they serve pasta in prison because it's cheap.
Mac and cheese.
I bet it is all goulash of some kind.
I think you can get an apple on occasion in
There was
prison.
no way there was fruit in prison.
I went to a prison. Guy asked me to go up there and try to work with them on their culinary program, and they actually looked like they had pretty good food at the prison that I went to.
Both of you are completely insane.
Well, I was also glad to discover that they had removed all the weightlifting equipment from the prison, because that never really made sense to me. You know, put hardened, violent guys in prison and let them lift weights all day, so they get bigger and stronger by the time they get out.
It's always the prison food is what starts the riot.
All right, believe it or not, we got a bunch of guys on the phone that have done hard time.
I believe it.
If you've been in prison,
if you know someone in prison,
or been to visit someone in prison, I don't even know how often can you visit someone in prison? Is there a limit? Can you go every day, every week?
I don't know, but it
month?
seems like you have to take in all the movies, you have to take a bus there.
The way to get to the prison.
Prison seems to all have parking problems because you have to get shuttled in.
It's always the girlfriend in a bus, right?
Yeah, it's always in a bus, and they're hoping they can see their person. So they're
right. Like, what are they going to be busy? Are they going to be in a meeting?
They need more efficiency of maybe text them saying, "Hey, I'll be here at noon."
That's a great scene in Goodfellas when they go to visit him in prison, and there's just all kinds of craziness going on at the prison.
David and I were signing into a business meeting this week, Danny. We had to sign in, so I looked at the sign sheet and I just started screaming at David that Janice Rossi and
right in the middle of the lobby of this big company.
2B was a whore.
Yeah. All right, let's talk to some of you guys that have done time. Paul in the truck, where did you serve your time, sir?
Yes, I did. And they do have cheeseburgers in prison.
Well, hold on.
Nice.
Which prison were you in?
Well, let's see. I was in Walpole. I was at Bridgewater.
Oh, Jerry.
Old Colony. And then I was in Shirley.
You've been in 4 different prisons?
Yeah.
No.
You get moved from prison to prison.
Oh, I see. So this was for one crime? They moved you around to 4 prisons?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which of those places had the best food?
The best is Shirley.
Shirley's got the best food. What do they have
Well,
over
they
at
had the best when I was there. I was working their culinary program. They had good food there.
Well, they did. They got a new chef recently, and so people have been complaining on our website. It's different.
Paul, in prison, is it at the restaurants in the prison, is it full liquor or beer and wine only?
Well, the beer and wine is toilet beer and wine.
Do you know? Do you know that?
The hooch. That's where you make that, in the toilet or a waste
Yeah, see, these guys, they figure it out.
Yeah,
man.
but as a prisoner and working in the kitchen, did they give you knives, or were there all kinds of crazy rules? You know,
That's a good question.
They give you a knife, but it's depends on where you are. Sometimes that knife is attached to the table
Do you know that we
with
got
a cord.
That's probably a good rule.
We got an email from a prisoner last week who tried using the Phantom Gourmet restaurant gift card at Bridgewater Prison.
All right, hey, Paul, I'm glad you got out. We got a bunch more people on the line that want to tell us about prison food. Let's go to one more. Jeff in Oxford. How you doing, pal?
Good, great show. I can't match that last guy, but I did a short time at Bill Ricker House Correction.
How long were you in?
15 years.
That's the one I went to visit. How long were you there?
Only 6 months for drunk driving. It was, House of Correction. No hard timers there, but the food was just like the school lunch food, just like that. Hamburgers, pizza, very bland.
I stand corrected.
that's what I would have assumed. Pizza Fridays.
Hey, Jeff, do they find ways, though, to sneak you in, different foods through your friends or through the guards and stuff?
Yeah, well, anything's possible, but just like at home, the Franks and Beans on Saturday night, Pizza Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to, can you actually see someone, or do you have to stand behind plexiglass and talk on, a payphone?
No, it's House of Correction. No one's there for a hard time, so you have regular visiting rooms, and, it's not like Walpole, it's just everyone there for a short time.
All right, pal. Well, listen, I'm glad you got out. And what was the first thing that you ate when you got out of prison?
I'd say a lot of beer.
You had a lot of beers.
Yeah, there you have it.
Pizza.
That's probably the last thing you had before you went in.
All right, buddy. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Don't drink and drive today, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
Well
for your service, sir.
I like that thus far in the show, we've only solicited phone calls
Drunks in prison.
from drunken, violent people for St. Patrick's Day and people that have been in prison.
Well, we do it all for the kids.
Those are concentric circles. At some point, a lot of that does overlap.
There's a lot of overlap in those two.
Why don't we reach out to not the
Constituencies.
total dregs of society?